What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're going to talk some basketball. Orlando Magic basketball. It's official, y'all. The Orlando Magic have done it. They've hired a new head coach. They hired former assistant coach from the Dallas Mavericks, Jamahl Mosley, to be the new head coach for the Orlando Magic. They gave him a 4-year deal. I was waiting for it to be official because I know we were hearing some rumblings. We were talking about, he reached the second interview process, and I think it was game 2 in the finals. They said the Magic have closed in on them, and people have been dropping videos and talking about it. But I wanted to wait till it was fully official before I made a video. And here it is. The Orlando Magic have done it. They signed to a 4-year deal. It's a lot of things to unpack because with this signing, it kind of makes some things clear, especially how we're going to handle the offseason going forward. It makes a lot of things clear. But let's talk about Jamal Mosley real quick. He spent 2 years in Denver as a player development coach from 05 to 07 as a player development coach, and then was promoted in 07 still at the Denver Nuggets to be an assistant coach. So from 07 to 2010, he was an assistant coach in Denver. Then went to Cleveland. He was assistant coach from 2010 to 2014 in Cleveland, and then from 2014 until now was the assistant coach in Dallas. And from the rumblings, he was upset. He felt that he was going to get the Dallas job after Rick Carlisle stepped away. Kind of don't really know why he felt like that. Maybe, I guess, Mark Cuban maybe promised him. I know he has a good relationship with Luka Doncic. But my thing is, okay, so why didn't you get the job if you have that such a relationship with Luka Doncic? But no, obviously Dallas wanted to go with Jason Kidd, and then he didn't go with Rick Carlisle in Indiana, and that's going to be easily explained. That he probably was he was going to get a head coaching job somewhere else, or at least be in the run to get one. So he wanted to see if he can get a head coaching job anywhere else before he decided to either stay in Dallas or go with Rick Carlisle to Indiana. So that I can explain that. But like I said, this right here, two things are very, very clear in my personal opinion with this hire with Jamal Mosley. The first thing, shout out to my boy John Osborne out there from one half of the Six Man Show podcast, because he said this on Twitter. And also said it in their podcast, they did an emergency podcast when this news first dropped about Jamal Mosley, that the Orlando Magic main objective and main objective, especially for this upcoming season, is not to win basketball games. And I completely agree. That's what this signing tells me. This is what this hire tells me, that the main job is not to win games. Now, you hope you can win some games, but that's not the main goal. That's not the main objective, especially for this 2021-2022 season. It's not to win games. It's to develop players. It's simple. It makes perfect sense, especially when your two main hogs, your two main horses that you're going to build this team around, and Isaac and Fultz are both going to be coming off ACL injuries. Now, it's going to be a little over a year removed when the season starts, so October. Season starts October. Jonathan Isaac got hurt with maybe in mid-August last year, so roughly around a year and 2 months by the time the season starts. So he should be ready to go. But I don't expect him to be full Jonathan Isaac right there. There's going to be some minute restrictions. And then Markelle, I don't expect Markelle to come back until after January, if not after the All-Star break. So you got to give these guys another year to get their feet up underneath them a little bit. So this is more so of developing Cole, developing Chuma, developing RJ, developing Mo Bamba, developing who you get in the draft, and developing also Wendell. And speaking of who you get in the draft, that segues into my next point, and what I really think this coaching hire really means. With the 5th pick, the Orlando Magic are taking Jonathan Kuminga. It's a 95% chance that they're going to take Jonathan Kuminga with the 5th pick, and I think it's going to be a 0% chance that they're going to trade up. Now I think that maybe either they decided they don't feel like it, or maybe they've already made some calls and some backdoor, information, and realized that price is going to be too high to jump up to 1, 2, or 3. So I don't feel like they're going to trade up. I'll be pleasantly shocked and surprised, because y'all know I really want Jalen Green. I'll be pleasantly surprised if they do able to jump up, but I don't see it happening. I don't. And I say 95 because, there's a small chance that they might go after somebody like Scotty Barnes, but I think it's a 95% chance they're going to draft Jonathan Kuminga. And I think really the only real reason they won't draft Jonathan Kuminga at 5 is if somebody already takes Jonathan Kuminga in the top 4, which is slightly, more likely unlikely, slightly possible, but more likely unlikely. That's why my focus is more so now on this 8th pick, because I really know what the 5th pick is. It's going to be Jonathan Kuminga. Now my focus is going to be on this 8th pick. Hopefully somebody like Moses Moody. I'm cool if it's James Bouknight, but I prefer Moses Moody. Mark, I'm cool if it's Bouknight because you're gonna need somebody with scoring because that's exactly what this hire tells me is that the Magic are gonna double down on their strength, and that's defense. You got somebody like Isaac, Chuma, and somebody like Kaminga who has defensive potential. Now I know people are like, okay, what about Sky Barnes? He's a better defender. I understand that, but like I said, especially Jamal got into the league, he's cut his teeth in the league as a what? Player development. What I just say, the first part of this hire tells me they're trying to develop players. I think that even though Sky Barnes is a better defender than Jonathan Kaminga right now, he doesn't have better offensive skills, and I don't think he will even get better offensive skills. Jonathan Kaminga problem offensively is scoring. It's not scoring, it's shooting. He doesn't have his shit is shooting is the problem, not him scoring. Because he could score. He plays bully ball. He can get in the paint. He has moves. He has a lot of potential. He has a lot of athleticism. So he can get points. He just can't shoot. He's not a great shooter, and he has potential to be a lockdown defender. The thing about it is, you gotta get him to play. You gotta get him to focus on defense and care about defense. That's where a person like Jamahl Mosley comes in. That's what this head coach. That's why this job is perfect, especially for him in this situation. And that's why this tells me this kind of goes hand in hand. They hired Jamal Mosley. They're going to draft Jonathan Kaminga. It just tells me that exactly what this tells me because you're gonna get him to focus in and help him reach his potential because you got somebody like I said in Jonathan Isaac who I think outside this year because he's gonna be coming off the ACL injury, so you got to get some air up underneath his feet and get his feet wet a little bit, going back into playing the whole NBA season again. But a guy who I feel like is going to be a perennial defensive player of the year candidate. I think he's going to be a perennial defensive player of the year candidate. Chuma Kiki, a guy who everybody want to call Baby Kawhi. I think he's a guy who's going to be a perennial second to third team defensive player, second to third team all defensive. Like I think he's going to be on the second or third all defensive team perennially. And somebody like Markel, who I think can every now and then get to be at the very least a on third team all defensive team. And then you have somebody like Kaminga, who if he hits his potential when it comes to defensive, because he has the ability and the potential and athleticism and has all the attributes, if he just locks in on defense, could be a guy who could compete and get defensive player years here and there. So this is why this tells me that they're going to focus all on defense. I think that they would have loved to have Steve Clifford coach somebody like Kaminga, but I don't think the Magic were hoping that they were going to be stuck in this position. I do believe if the Magic would have got the first or the second pick and been guaranteed to get somebody like Cade or get somebody like Jalen Green, I don't think they make this hire. I don't. Because I think after the fifth pick, I think they would have rather kept Clifford. And I know Clifford said something. I know he was on the podcast or it was on something not too long ago and said he didn't want to go through another season where winning wasn't the main objective. Because he got a whole bunch of young guys. And you're going to add potentially two more, which they are going to add two more young guys, possibly three, with the 2 first-round picks you have, the 2 lottery picks you have, and then also another pick in the third and second round. So I can see where he's coming from on that aspect. And he didn't want to go through a whole another rebuild or coaching all these young guys and be developing. He wants to be a guy, he wants to coach a team that's competing for playoff spots. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Like I just said, that winning is not going to be the objective. I think this team is going to be a lottery team again next year. And then possibly the 2022-2023 season, you're probably going to be looking at getting into the playing game. 2023-2024 is the season where I think the Magic hoping they're going to be a lock playoff team. Not have to get into the play-in game, so they won't be in that 7, 8, 9, 10 range, talking about being 6 at the very least, to possibly being third, fourth, third, or second in the East. That's where they're going to be hoping at. So somewhere in that 5 to, I say somewhere in that 3 to 5 range in 2024. That's the Magic hope, and that's the goal going forward. These next couple years, I don't think they don't really have any expectations outside of developing and hoping that you get the best out of some guys. So That's what this tells me. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. How I feel about the Jamahl Mosley hire. Y'all know I really wanted Penny. And I think it was some politics with that. Um, as far as I just think that the Magic weren't ready for Penny. I think they wanted somebody, especially knowing, like I said, I I think they would have tried to get Penny even more if they would have got the first or the second pick. But when you get this pick, like, and you know, you're gonna get Jonathan Kuminga. Like I said, I feel like they probably have already even made some calls and see that it's gonna be too high, too pricey to jump up to 1, 2, or 3. And they're like, nah, we just go ahead and stay with Kuminga and just hire somebody who develop them. Because I mean, if y'all look through history, superstar teams and superstar players very rarely, if ever, win titles with the coach they started with. So I could kind of see Jamal Mosley being a stepping stone, a guy who helps develop these guys, help develop Chuma, help develop RJ, help develop Kaminga, help develop Moses Moody, Book Knight, help develop Markel, and then you go on, you swing for the fences, and you make a splashy head coach hire 2, 3 years from now. I could see that happening. I can say, okay, we reached this developmental stage. All right, cool. 4 years. We develop these guys. We know what these guys can do. Let's get another coach that can push them over. Let's get another coach that can definitely get them into the playoffs. Now, hopefully, I'm hoping that Jamal Mosley is that guy. I don't want them to fire Jamal Mosley. I want him to be the guy. I want him to be successful. I want the guys who they draft to be successful, be all stars and things like that. But I'm just telling you how I feel. I think he's really a stepping stone coach. Now, one thing, he has a good relationship with Luka. Who knows? Maybe we've heard that Luka is not being happy with Dallas, and hopefully hopefully the Jason Kidd hire could keep Luka in the fold. Who knows? Maybe Orlando could be a destination years down the road if him in this relationship with Luka really is that tight. I know I've seen both RJ and Cole both kind of be excited about this hire. I think it's more so for a developmental standpoint. I know a lot of players like him, and that's a lot of things, especially when it comes to basketball, NBA coaches. You have to get a rapport with your team, with your players. You have to build a relationship with your players. Not so much be the old man in the room. He's a young guy, so I do like that. He's 42, and he's not a retread coach. What I do like about the hire, like I said, he's young, and that it's not a retread coach. What I don't like is that he's a defensive-minded coach, and the Orlando Magic problem is scoring, getting points, getting buckets consistently from a guy or from a plethora of guys. That's our problem. And until we fix that, I really don't see the Magic doing anything massive in the playoffs because, like I said, these teams that are playing in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals and end up playing in the NBA Finals, pretty much all the teams that were in the playoffs this past year outside of really New York had bona fide guys who got them buckets 20 to 25 a night consistently. I know Julius Randle was comeback play, not comeback, but was most improved player of the year. But you see, yeah, he did all in the regular season, but when he got to the playoffs time, he couldn't get you 25 a night. He couldn't even get you 20 a night. Now, and that's the reason why they end up losing to a lower seed. Everybody else has somebody bona fide who can get them 20 to 25 a night, if not multiple. That's what the Orlando Magic need, and hopefully they can get that in this draft. But if they do get that in the draft, more likely it's going to come with that 8th pick instead of the 5th pick, because I think the 5th pick is going to be somebody like Kaminga, who you're drafting strictly on potential. Because if he hits all his potential marks, he could end up being the second, third best player in the draft if he hits everything because how athletic he really is. But we remain to be seen. We're going to see exactly what happens going forward. Like I said, so the Orlando Magic hired Jamal Mosley. I'm cool with it. At first I was kind of after thinking about it and doing a little bit more research, I'm cool with it because it's going to be more so of a developmental situation. I'm looking at it more like that. It's going to be more of a developmental situation, and I'm really cool with that because I think they do need to develop. And I know we've been starving, we've been waiting, and now we hit the reset button all over again. But it's kind of the hand that we dealt, especially with happened in the draft lottery. I think that's the biggest blow to the Orlando Magic franchise so far was that draft lottery. So like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.